But beyond it, behind it, well, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Let me bring you over to show you what it is. And it's going through a big eye bolt right here, or eyelet. We've come this far. There's no way we're turning back now without actually physically standing where the hotel used to be. This has been one of the most difficult explorations I've done in a long time. Like we said, not only is this kind of tying everything together, but we're showing you things that probably have never been seen on video, or at least on YouTube. So about 2 months ago, I was in the same location to talk about things that many people had no idea ever existed, including an old hotel directly in front of us there, past these bridge piers that no longer carry a train. That video was extremely popular, and there was a lot of requests for me to come back and to see what's possibly remaining today, and that's exactly what we're doing in this video. We're gonna head over there to see what's left, if anything, of the old Wahnetah Hotel. Also, where the bridge support abutment is over there, there was an old shack or structure there at one time. We're gonna see if anything's left of it today. But before that, we're gonna head over here to see what's left of the old LV train station platform and pavilion area that was up on the hillside. If you're curious as to what we may or may not find, all you need to do is come along with me. Also joining me today is a special guest, because 2 sets of eyes are better than 1. We have Robbie from He's Not Lost, He's Exploring. And we're almost kind of color-coded today, so we should be able to easily find ourselves out in the woods. Also, I did get some information and several photos, which I will be sharing throughout the video, from a viewer friend named Bruce S. So thanks to Bruce for providing those for me. But we're going to basically get under this bridge and start heading over towards the platform area. And if we time it right, we should catch the 11 o'clock train coming through here as well. Just a moment ago, we were standing under this very bridge. Now we're beneath it, because this is going to be the beginning of our trail access to the old station area and pavilion area. But at one time, 2 railroad bridges. Today, just 1. This one is strictly vehicle and pedestrian. But you can see would have been a 3rd bridge, obviously, with the turnhole tunnel right there. So at one time, 3 bridges going right across the Lehigh River. Now, little did I know, last time I was here documenting this, I was down here just checking out beneath the bridges, and I found this giant 1913 stamping here in the concrete. And I was wondering, I'm like, how do you get over to that old pavilion / station area? And Robbie's like, you were kind of knocking on the door already. He's like, if you just kept going past this bridge, it'll take you right to it. So little did I know, there's an actual trail here. It's an orange blaze, and it's going to take us right to where we need to go. So once we get over closer, I'm going to give you some more information and some perspectives from how it used to look long ago. But I always appreciate the bridge construction, though. You can see they have these almost like shims here and big joints. Looks like they could flex if they need to. And it smells heavily like grease down here as well. Now down here in what I'm calling a little beach area, it's a nice calm patch of river. And this is where we are in reference to the train bridge. And I want to show you a photo right now that was taken from the other side of that bridge, looking down here. And the arrow or circle I'm showing is where we are right now, back in time though. So the area hasn't transformed a whole lot. So this area still does exist. It's still like a public beach landing area. People probably launched boats from here, and I think Robbie said you used to be able to rent boats from down this area too, down this way. And then,
way before our time.
Yeah, before our time, back in the day, as they say. And then up here is going to be where the station platform would have been, and behind that was a restaurant. So before we go any further, let me tell you about what I do know, which was shared with me via Bruce, who did give me some information about this area. So the structure that was there was a Lehigh Valley Railroad station in Glenanoka, which is where we are, and the building behind it was a restaurant. And above that area was a park that featured rides for kids, a pavilion, gazebo, fountain, and picnic area. When the park closed, the rides were taken to Memorial Park in Jim Thorpe, and the pavilion was disassembled and reassembled into a dance skating pavilion at Memorial Park as well. That building was raised in 1983. And there should be some remains of the fountain, stone retaining walls, stone walkways, etc. in the old park area. And one ride still survives from the old park, which is now, it's been restored by the Mock Chunk Rod and Gun Club. Here's some behind the scenes of Robbie with his low profile shot. A little bit of a climb. So I'm going to show you another photo taken from across the bridge, looking over here. Where we're standing, most likely is where the station platform would have been. Pretty much right here. If anything, we may even be standing on it where it once existed. Now there is a stone wall here, which could be original. And Robbie, what would you say the name of that rock is up there?
I think it's Moyer's Rock.
Moyer's Rock. So right up there is a rock, and I have another photo to show you before and after that someone took, and Bruce was able to share it with me, of the same spot we're standing at. So that's a good perspective of kind of then and now. So that stone wall continues all the way to right around here. So I think it's more than just retention. I think maybe it had structural support for the station platform. But we know 100% it was right here because this enters the rock cut area. And we're not going to go any closer, obviously, because it is an active rail line. But I just wanted to show you kind of perspective as to when trains came through here, platform was right next to it. And, well, the rest is history from there. So, although it's pretty unrecognizable today, those pictures do show otherwise. So, platform station right there, Lehigh Valley. If we come down this way behind it, it should take us right to where the restaurant was. Now, the area has been probably modified and altered since then, so it doesn't look original, obviously, and nature has reclaimed over the many, many decades. But somewhere back here was a restaurant. I don't know if it was up on a raised foundation, or if they built it on stilts, or if the landscape was maybe more level back in the day. And then, like I said, it's been altered, but you can see it's a pretty steep landscape right here coming down. So however they did have it, it was directly behind the platform, the station platform, which would have been right ahead of us there. So for all we know, we could be standing in the restaurant right now, or possibly beneath it. But one way or another, we're definitely really close to where it once existed. But where we're gonna be walking most likely is the same path that guests walked upon to gain access to this pavilion park area. So we're gonna be walking literally through history. So we're currently doing a little detour side project to catch the 11 o'clock train, which is gonna be leaving in just a few minutes. But on our way up, look what I stumbled upon. A pole here, it's numbered, and you can see it's an old telegraph pole, but all the insulators have been picked clean. But it's just laying here on the embankment. And it's been here a long time. There's trees growing around it and through it. All right, so we are in position right now from a vantage point I've never been to before. I've always from the other side near the end of the rock cut. But since we're accessing this side, we found what Robbie called a goat trail or goat path right down to here. And we're basically sitting on the rock outcrop of the rock cut section. It's pretty steep here. We're fairly high. A fall from here would not be good. But we have a partially cleared, partially obstructed view of the train. But what my plan is to use my 360 X5 extended way out. It's a 10-foot pole and should get a pretty cool shot of the train, which I believe has departed already. So it should be here between 5 to 10 minutes. So if all goes according to plan, the next footage you see will be the train. All right, we can hear the rumble in the distance. It's on its way. right, now back to our regularly scheduled program. So before we did the little detour for the train, we wore down there, worked our way up, showing some of the stonework. And this is basically a switchback trail. And both below it and above it is more stonework. So it's right here, leading us up right to where Robbie is by that sign. So again, this is most likely the same path that people traveled to gain access to this site over 100 years ago. And we have some infrastructure here, big cast iron pipe coming right through, and it's cracked right open. So we know there was a fountain up here. They had to have water, so it's not gonna be surprising to see things like that. This is my very first time up here though. Robbie's been here numerous times, and he said this is the somewhat infamous red trail because it's now closed. It would take you to, is it Glenanoka Falls?
Glenanoka Falls, yeah, this is the actual falls trail.
This is the falls trail, which they closed due to a lot of people going there and not knowing what to expect, not being prepared, and well, you could fill in the blanks from there. I guess there is plans to maybe reopen it if they do kind of make it safer, a little bit better.
Yep, the governor said they're planning, supposed to be building on plans. They had to transfer some land from the Gaming Commission to the DCNR, and they have plans to reopen it. Yeah,
so if they do open it, I guess I'll be back to see it officially. So here's a board, welcome to Glenanoka Trail. And this is referencing the trail that we're not going to be taking, but it says the trail is extremely dangerous. Follow these rules to be safe. Hiking boots only, no sneakers or flip-flops. Darn it. No drugs or drinks that'll make you tipsy. Stay on trail. Good physical condition of hiker. People have been seriously hurt, and well, you can read the rest by not following these rules. So as the map dictates, all these X's is where we're not allowed to go to the falls, but in the future, hopefully. But we're right here. We're gonna be going over to the right because we're pretty much where we want to be for the pavilion park area, where there's going to be hopefully ruins of the garden, fountain, and maybe a structure or two if we're lucky. But as we can already see, there's stonework all the way up along the side here. So I can only imagine back in the day how gorgeous of an area this would have been. And even today, almost a century later, if not longer, it's still a pristine, beautiful area. And the craftsmanship back in the day holding up incredibly well lifetimes later. Well, didn't take long to find evidence of days gone by. Before I show you what we found, I want to share two pictures with you. The first one is a farther away shot showing not only the platform station and most likely the restaurant, but the pavilion area and park area where we are. I'm going to point an arrow to the approximate area that we are right now in that picture. And then another picture, which we're hoping to find the area, was a gazebo with a bunch of folks in it. And that would have been a nice flattened out area, and we may or may not have found that area, but there's more here to see than what I could see right from where I'm standing. So let me show you what we're working with, and then we'll kind of explore beyond our eyesight here. We just came walking up and down there. A short ways down is that sign about the Glenanoka Trail. And I noticed something round, and look what we have. This is the old fountain. It still exists today. And some people could say, oh, maybe it was just a foundation or a base or something like that. No, Robbie himself actually found confirmation, which I confirmed. This had water in it because the pipe is right there. So 100%. This was a water fountain, and you can see it's a little bit tiered in. It's about 3 different levels, and it is still holding up incredibly well from so long ago. I mean, it's a perfect circle. There's a couple of fractures in the rock, but even these big slabs here, I mean, they're big, round, curved sections. And now we got trees growing through it, plant life. But I can only imagine what this would have been like. Probably a gathering area for children. Probably threw some coins in there, made wishes. And today it's just a reminder of some of the things that people used to come and visit and do more than a century ago. But to see this still existing today, for me, that is just remarkable. Almost seems like it would have shot the water out this way too. That pipe's angled, so either something in the middle which is probably a drain, but it looks like the water came out at an angle here. But here's with me inside of it. You can see it's not huge, but big enough. It was I don't know the true bottom, but probably about knee deep. But I find this really fascinating. It's just the Pisces in me. Anything to do with water, I absolutely love. Another feature that we found, well, Robbie found, but I'm pointing out, is next to the fountain, leading up to this area, and that is right here. If you look directly in the middle of the screen, there's stonework, but it's more like a trough. It's bowled out like that. I'm thinking this is maybe water control for when it rained up here. Water maybe came down the embankment and it goes right down towards the sign there. Although a lot of it is kind of overgrown now, but it goes almost the entire length. If it's not for that, well then I don't know what it is. But since it is bowled out like that, leads me to believe that water flowed through it, almost like a little gutter canal system. But it could have maybe just been a walkway as well. I can't rule that out. Looks like it curves off in that direction and we kind of lose it from there for now. But again, a lot more stone here. This looks like a walkway. And then we have a flattened out area right here. And it's somewhat round, a lot of stone there. Maybe this is where the gazebo was. Unfortunately, I can't really see in reference to anything else where it was located, but it looks like a nice flattened out, rounded area. And, well, I'd say it's a 50-50 chance the gazebo could have been located right here. But as I look in the distance, I do see some more stonework, more back there. But we're going to follow where Robbie's going and see what else we find up here. But stonework galore, no shortage of it up here. So looking back on the old picture that I showed earlier, where we're walking most likely was a building right here.
Right there's the footer.
Yeah, there's footers here, and they could have been built on top of stone. They could have been built on something else. Oh, there's a telegraph pole right there. Yeah, this looks like a foundation right here. And just for reference, down below is the rock cut in the train tracks. So we are exactly where we need to be. And this area is actually much more sprawled out than I realized. Holy crap, it actually goes up higher, like different tiers, and I see more stonework up there as well. I mean, we're only seeing what's exposed. I'm sure there's a lot more that we can't see that's buried under earth and material. But it's just, not that's hard to imagine, but just from so long ago though, that knowing that there was families up here, children, rides, it was a big gathering area. And majority of the people that came here came off the train from that station platform that we documented already. So this is all kind of tying together, and a phrase I like to use is another piece of the puzzle. These telegraph poles are all up here. Pick clean. This trail leads down to the train tracks. And we can see some flattened out roads here too. But let's continue upwards, see what else is up here. Look at the size of this wall here. It's angled back and it's completely flat up here. So something I believe was up here. There's another area there similar to this, but you can walk through the middle with steps made out of stone. There's another wall behind me with another flattened out area. So different levels, different tiers. Who knows what would have been on top of them? Maybe rides? I mean, you know what this gives me vibes of, which I've documented numerous times? It's Rocky Glen Park in Moosic. That park has a lot of stonework and areas where rides used to be. Gives off vibes of this. There's also stone steps there, stone walls, really ornate. So Rocky Glen and this kind of meshing together. That's what I'm imagining here. The carousel would have been here somewhere, some other small children's rides, but I don't think buildings were here. I think something else, maybe picnic tables, maybe a little seating area, benches, who knows, but I'm just blown away by the craftsmanship of the stonework though. I mean, this is clearly over a century old and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. And just to think that I've been to Glen more times than I could count, and I had no idea about this until recently when those pictures were shared with me by the viewer. So me just kind of soaking it all in, trying not to be repetitive, but I am almost at a loss of words of what is still remaining today. Even though there's no structures, it's clearly evident of what used to be here back in the day. So that's where we just were on that plateau tier, and we're up on the upper one now. Again, flattened off, roundish in shape. I'm thinking something to do with recreation or rides. And these are definitely retention walls. Like you can see, it's got like a little algae on them. It's kind of like a powder almost. It's gritty. Now, obviously, I'm making this video with little knowledge of this area. I was basically relying on the viewer who provided the pictures and details. But if you have more information you're able to share based on what we're showing in this video, whether it be here, the hotel, or anything else, you know what to do. Comment section down below. Now, this is an area of interest for more than one reason. Do you see me? Probably not. Let me come out. And I am back here. So we have a rounded off curved wall and almost like a military bunker area. But beyond it, behind it, well, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Let me bring you over and show you what it is. So behind it, there is a dugout area. And it is rectangle in shape. Makes me wonder why that's here. Is that natural or man-made? Questions I don't have, but it's here for a reason. But everywhere you look though, it's just stonework upon stonework. Whoa! This might not be a solid bottom. Probably not the smartest idea for me to stand on this. I know there's no mines here, but could have been a well or something for all I know. Geez, I'm just thinking about it now. Don't do this, kids, unless you have someone near you or you're roped off. But yeah, I think that's the bottom, but I'm not even sure. But it goes down about another foot right here. But that's intriguing as to why that's here. But that definitely wasn't smart. Now, one thing I wouldn't be surprised about is if they quarried this stone locally. Whether it was nearby and they brought it in via train or wagon, it could have been within walking distance for all we know, because this whole entire mountain is basically bedrock. I mean, we're standing on top of the rock cut section of the railroad. So no matter where you look, there's rock all around. So they were able to quarry it, make it into the shapes and sizes that they did, build it. And I can almost imagine the men who did this had no idea it would be lasting a century later.
Actually, the steps. I have to see if I can find MJ.
Can you demonstrate the steps?
Cool. Would you like me to dance my way up like the kids do?
Use your imagination.
There you go. And we'll continue up the trail right here.
We are now looking for target number 2. So that is the turnhole tunnel right there. These are the bridge support piers and columns that go across the Lehigh, which means the abutment is right here behind us. And we're gonna get topside of that because up there, I believe on the left-hand side, was a small shack or structure. Don't know what it was used for, but it is there. And once we get up on top, I will show you a couple of pictures showing you exactly where it was. We're gonna start off with a few older photos first. So the first photo is this bridge under construction. And the hotel's there, and where I'm gonna circle is the little tiny structure next to the train abutment wall. That was there at the time, and also another structure behind it. Rectangle shaped, looks like a small platform or a pavilion. So that's looking from across the river where we are right now. Next picture is a completed train bridge, hotel there. That little white structure or shed or shack or whatever you want to call it is there. And the platform pavilion is behind it as well. And just again, pay attention to the proximity of things with the bridge and the wall and everything like that. Then we have one final photo of where I am today. And you can see that little shack structure on the right hand side. The opening is facing the tracks. You can see clear across to the turnhole tunnel. And we're gonna fade to where we are right now. We're basically in that same area. We're on top of the abutment wall. The bridge piers are directly in front of us over the river. And unfortunately we can't see the turnhole tunnel, but it's straight across there. If we were here just a few months ago and I did that same shot, we'd have a great before and after. So double line going across here, and we know that little shack structure is on the right hand side. Now, this area obviously is not 100% the same as to how it used to be, but it's pretty close. But up here, there are a couple things that we have found already. So we have two pylons here, if you want to call them that, or simpler term, telephone poles with a cable here. I don't know what that's for, but they're obviously inserted there for a reason. But behind that, Robbie said that there's some concrete supports here, which there are. There's 4 of them, I believe. Is there 4? Maybe 6?
There's at least 6.
There's at least 6. So with them being 6 here, rectangle shaped, I'm thinking that is that pavilion slash station platform that we saw behind that little white shed or structure. So I think that's what we're looking at. It seems to match up pretty well because we're farther back away from the abutment wall, and there was wood in here, wood post, and that looks like it was a wooden structure, which means that shed or whatever that is, shack, was in front of it somewhere. But I don't see anything from it today. So I don't know how close it was, but based on the pictures, it seemed like it was fairly close to the abutment wall. So my inclination is somewhere in this general area right here. It may have been built up more, and over time it eroded, but I'm getting the feeling though it was pretty much right here. Maybe it's the furthest back right where we are here. But beyond that, that's basically all we could find from those pictures. But before we head over, because we need to transport to another location to focus on the hotel, we're gonna go down near the river to point out 1 or 2 things which are from the olden days as well. I wanted to come down by the river one more time because I mentioned it before. I've shown it in other videos when I documented the tunnel, but here we can actually see part of it. And hopefully it's gonna come through on camera. Now, if I was able to stand on top of one of those pier columns, we'd have a great view of it. The water is not 100% clear, and it's a little bit higher than usual. But right in the water, hopefully you can see it right there. There is a rectangle-shaped piece of steel. It's probably close to 20 feet in length, if not longer. It's attached with cross braces, and it's laying there right in the water. And there's also another one which is not easily as visible on the other side, closer to the wall beneath the tunnel opening. Now, I have heard rumor that some people believe that is part of a train car that is wreckage from a train crash, and that's what's left of it today. Although I can't 100% rule that out, I think that's highly unlikely. What I do think it is the spans across the beams here. I'm thinking when they dismantled this bridge, whether they fell in or they intentionally placed them there, that's what it's looking like, because it's about the right width for train tracks and it's about the right length to go across. So I just wanted to point out once again, since we are here, it is part of most likely rail infrastructure and it is laying right here in the water. So if you do come here and the water is lower and clearer, you can easily see it. You can sometimes even see it from the bridge right there where we started the video. And I was hoping to give you some underwater footage with my action camera, which I still could, but I can't get out as close to that as I was hoping. But just want to point it out. If you do come down here, look for that. But most likely it is the spans of the train bridge from long, long ago. And just a reminder, with my last visit here, I did show that tunnel, but that tunnel is now off limits. It is gated and fenced off and posted. So you can go up to it, but you can no longer go inside. And if you are caught inside, well, wouldn't be good. But I have filmed it before they closed it off. I have numerous videos of it. I have aerial footage. So if you do want to see what it's like inside the tunnel, learn more about it, see different views, all you need to do is basically just go on my channel, search Turnhole Tunnel, you'll find it. Looks like Robbie made a new friend. And no, it's not the old man. It's a puppy. Now, for those of you waiting, we're finally making it to the hotel area. So before we do focus on that, we're going to focus on something that was related to the hotel. So just for perspective, behind this bathroom area here is the train abutment. So the line came through here, double line tracked, and continued right through here. And off to our right, and thanks to the help of Robbie, is something that was related to the hotel, and it was accessed from this side to be able to get over to the hotel. So I'm going to show you a few photos right now, one of which is going to show you where the tracks are, where we're standing, and where the tracks end and a bridge begins. There was a pedestrian bridge that crossed over from where we are, crossed the Lehigh River, connecting to the Wahnetah Hotel. And he stated there are some ruins or supports or anchors of that bridge itself. All right, so right below where Robbie is, we have what looks like giant padlocks. You can see the big link, and it looks like a lock. And you can see some bolts here. These are threaded, and it's going through a big eye bolt right here, or eyelet. There's one here and one on the other side here. It does resemble a giant padlock. So it's just hanging here freely, and there's some concrete here as like a base or like a small abutment. So that bridge would have carried straight across over the river to the other side where the hotel is. And he said it was actually, you can see some posts right here too. Those two of them right there. And he said there's some steel braided cable down here too. Oh yeah, I see it. Yep, that right there was part of the bridge. Now the hotel is our final and last target, and hopefully the best for last, although I'm not sure what we're gonna find. But the thing is, we can't access it from here. We need to go to another area via our vehicles, park, and ascend downwards behind it. But before we do that, let me give you a recap of the hotel, which I covered in my video from 2 months ago. But hotel, which I was pronouncing Wahnetah, it's Wahnetah. It was built in 1886 as a 4-story Victorian resort, had 47 rooms, 84-foot bar, dance pavilion, and tennis courts, and it was destroyed by a forest fire in 1911. And there are numerous photos of it out there, maybe even photos of it when it was burning, but had a big sweeping curvature porch, a lookout area on top. Is almost hard to imagine that it existed back here, and where it was and what it looks like today, you would never think it. And from what I was told via my viewer friend Bruce, he did state that spring and winter are the best times to go, and he said You may find bricks from the chimney and a retaining wall that still exists at that site. Well, after a lengthy break from where we just last filmed, we are now where we're supposed to be. And big special thanks to our friend Ryan of Twisted Adventures. He told us where to get access to come down behind the hotel. So we found a parking spot. We're walking on some type of road, and we're going to be descending downwards because we know the hotel is down pretty close to the river, and we're up kind of high right now. We don't know how far it's going to be to get there, but one way or another, we are determined to reach that location and to actually stand where the hotel used to be and see if we could find anything still standing today. After walking about 100 yards down, we came to a clearing. It's a nice little area here. A couple bare trees here still. But it looks like where we have to go is right in front of us. And looks like it's descending downwards. Now this makes me wonder, the guests who stayed at this hotel, we know they accessed it from the LV tracks going across the bridge across the river, but they had to have also accessed it from this side of the river. And if they did, is it the same way that we're going to access it? Was there a road that's no longer here? And if there was, most likely it was a switchback trail because they would have had horse-drawn carriages and wagons back in the day, as well as foot traffic. They obviously can't go straight down. So if you happen to know that information, please share it. If not, there's a possibility we're going to be walking the same footsteps as guests who did stay at this hotel. So something was residing here. So all these concrete, I don't know if that's even cinder block or not.
No, it looks like cement.
It's like blocks. Oh, maybe early form of cinder blocks, but they're staggered all throughout. And we were just up there at the clearing, so it's just down here, coming down at an angle. But the main trail, oh, there's a lot more right here. So there's some timbers here, stonework. There's a pipe right there. Yeah, this is cinder block actually. I was correct. Early cinder block. We know the hotel wasn't up here. It was down near the water, but this is leading down to it. So who knows what they could have had. Maybe there's other structures behind it that we weren't aware of too. It's like a mangrove forest.
Yeah, this explains why I can't see nothing from the Earth.
Yeah, satellite. It's kind of hard to see anything unless you go to Google Earth and take it back to around 2017. Oh yeah. It looks like we're brought out to a clearing and rocks and trails going in different directions. So now we have to figure out which way to go. So we came out to this clearing here and we had not really a fork in the road, more like a trifecta. That direction, and that direction. I hear the train coming too. I think this might be part of the switchback if there is indeed one, because this is going down at a pretty straight shot and it's straight, uniform, slight grade. This makes the most sense. So hopefully this is going to lead us to the right direction. So the hotel would be pretty much almost directly below us, a little bit over that direction. What we're able to see is the boat launch area for the rafting that we showed earlier. It's straight down there where that big white area is. The one thing I wanted to mention is what Robbie mentioned, is that as far as we know, there's no videos that we found documenting this area. Although people have been back here and obviously people know about it, I don't think it's been documented. If it has, it's not really out there, easy to find. So between both of our videos, this is gonna be the first modern day documentation of us leading down to and exploring the site of the old Wahnetah Hotel.
Well, you gotta say it.
My nature's carpet.
That would be great. Oh wow. Can you get that on camera?
Yeah, little drainage pipe. So the water's flowing down right here and diverting right through the pipe here. Nice cold water. I'd probably drink that more than anything else.
Now we're seeing actual evidence that this was built here.
Yeah, stonework right here we're walking on. This is intentionally made like this, and the hotel would be right down here somewhere, because back before the pipe we saw a cleared out area. So we're approaching it.
So you got
We made some progress. We have ascended downwards down a pretty well used, we're gonna call it a horse trail because that's most likely what it was used for or used by. And we kind of plateaued to the bottom. Now the trail does keep going, but that's going away from the hotel. We don't want to go that direction. Where we want to go is through here. And it looks not really passable, but that is indeed the way we have to go. And it looks like a switchback. So you would come down and go right through that direction. And once you get past this blockage of trees, it does look pretty flat and level, just not used. So we may be one of the first people back here in quite some time. We went further ahead on the trail, even though it's taking us away. We wanted to see where it brought us to. Oh, we actually saw this from across the way. Okay, so the parking lot is up there. The bathrooms are over there. The bridge would be somewhere over there. So we're not too far away from where the bridge would have crossed. So those big anchors or giant padlocks that I showed you would be somewhere over in that area. So we are about a stone's throw away from where that bridge would have crossed. So I'm thinking it would have crossed somewhere closer down here. But there's a nice little beach area here. It's like a little artificial dam someone made with rocks. Whether do some wading or some fishing. Beautiful spot though, nice little shady cove. And where we walked past, I didn't show it, but there's some stonework right up there where Robbie is. So this was probably access for hotel guests to utilize, maybe walking, hiking trails and river access as well. So we may be standing right where people used to come and say frolic back in the day when they were staying at the Grand Wahnetah Hotel. Yeah, I'm claiming this spot. This is braver than I want to be.
keep going.
You first.
I'll go out there if you do.
May not look like it, but the trail came right through here, at least back in the day. It is overgrown today, but we did find our way through, and Robbie's up ahead. So without a doubt, this was a trail at one time or a road, and it's taking us directly towards the direction we want to go. It just may not be an easy way to navigate there, but we've come this far. There's no way returning back now without actually physically standing where the hotel used to be. So unless I find anything exciting along the way, oh, I just got snagged. Going to traverse through this jungle, and then we'll pick up when we're pretty much there. So we hit a roadblock with nature. Off camera, I did some scouting going down to the water's edge. And it looks like we're really close to where the bridge would have crossed. Whether it was down closer to the water, we're thinking more so up here where we are. The problem is though, is we're still about, I'm guessing between 30 to 50 yards away from the hotel. We think we probably walked past it on that slope that we came down. The problem is though, is that going through this way, even though this was a road or path or trail at one time, it's nearly impenetrable. And we don't know how far we could go without, basically hitting a dead end. Can't go down there because the water gets too close to the edge and you're basically stopped by water. So we're thinking we need to backtrack to where we saw that stonework along our path or trail, and most likely we need to descend somewhere down there. We did see a bigger clearing and the stonework is probably close to the hotel itself. So we're gonna look at the pictures I have, kind of analyze our area in reference to that. But as of right now, I don't see us going in that direction or down here. So most likely we're gonna backtrack where we came and hopefully find a clearing and make a decision from there.
This time I am.
Okay, take 3. So, bring you up to speed. And you may be wondering why I'm partway down, because we thought we were recording, we weren't. We backtracked. We're about 30 feet away from that pipe where I washed my hands. It's just over there. When we were coming down the trail, Robbie stopped here and looked down and noticed a clearing. And the clearing looks like evidence, because I'm going to show you a picture that we were looking at off camera. That picture shows the hotel with a type of wall or embankment behind it. And we're thinking that might be this embankment wall right here, which is like a plateau area. If that is indeed it, the hotel was down below that. So we're going to make our way down to here, see how it looks, see if we can continue down. But you could see this area from the turnhole tunnel, which we have some pictures of the hotel. And we know that the bridge was over where we came from. So we're about 95% confident the hotel was down in that clearing. And hopefully once we get down to this plateau here, we'll have more evidence of that. So I'm going to safely make it down. Robbie's going to come behind me and we'll just take it a section at a time. Well, we weren't recording to protect the cameras. I did slide more than halfway down that embankment. Robbie made it more gracefully than I did, but it is all part of the journey and adventure. So we shared what was going on, and now we have solid proof that our instincts were correct, because where we're standing is indeed a stone wall. This most likely is the wall behind the hotel in the old photograph. So that means if we're standing on the wall, the hotel was right down there. And from here, we see a lot of red and orange and looks like bricks. And if that's the case, I think we know what that is evidence of. This has been one of the most difficult explorations I've done in a long time. The only time I went through this much work was, I think it was last year, covering the Hayes Creek branch of the LV line. And that was a heck of a workout. But the good thing is I'm not doing this alone. But we are definitely putting in our work effort today. We started roughly close to 11 a.m. and what time you got?
3 o'clock.
3 o'clock right now. We're still not done. But we are so close that no matter what happens now, there's no way we can turn back. But I just hope you appreciate the effort that both of us are going through to bring this to you, because like we said, not only is this kind of tying everything together, but we're showing you things that probably have never been seen on video, or at least on YouTube. So this is going to be a long documentation and investigation, but one that I am excited to see out to the end. It's going to be a fun climb back up.
Yeah, I'm swimming across the river. I need the keys to the truck.
Didn't even notice it until I came down below it. This little waterfall here is a stone retention wall. I went to the right. Oh, the water has an easy way down, but we don't. We've come upon another wall here. This one is made out of stone as well, but there's no way we could descend down here because it's about a 10-foot drop almost. So we need to find another way down. But from here though, you're looking at the back of the hotel. I mean, we're probably able to touch the building from right here. So that's how close we are. But there's more evidence down here. We need to physically get down there because, well, this is just not going to do it. So we need to find an alternate route. But we are inching ever so closer, but we just keep hitting roadblock after roadblock. But we are stubborn and determined. We have done it. Robbie's on the last wall. We found a slope coming down, which he's going to follow down. And I could say I'm officially standing in the hotel right now. Keep going to your left.
Okay.
Now, we may need to get rescued to get out of here, but at least we can say we made it here.
Wow.
We are descended down quite an embankment though. And look what's down here. Bricks upon bricks. So, finding evidence of an old chimney or fireplace are indeed true. We already came down, I think, 3 different stone retention walls. And there should be a wall in front of us, which we know based on the pictures. But look, there's a railroad track here. Robbie spotted it earlier up. I don't know why it's here. But everywhere you look, the whole ground is littered in bricks. Some are bare and exposed, some are covered in nature's carpet. I just found something here too. There's a boiler or something like that.
Jay's over there getting us checked into the hotel.
This is riveted. There's a hole there. This is pretty solid. Maybe it was a pipe and they capped it. There's a pretty significant pipe or boiler tank here. I have to tell you guys, I was starting to lose hope that we were going to actually make it here. We hit so many obstacles and roadblocks that we weren't sure, not only if it was even worth the effort, but 2, if it was even practical to come down here. But we are standing in a piece of history that's gone since 1911 due to a fire. And although the structure itself is long gone, the footprint left is still here. We have a steel tank or pipe, dozens if not hundreds of bricks, and those stone retention walls, which were all part of the hotel property. Beyond that, we scaled down a type of switchback, which was either for horse and carriage or just horseback. And that was a trail that neither of us knew existed until recently. And thanks to our friend Ryan of Twisted Adventures, who pointed us in the right direction. Honestly, I never thought we'd make it over here other than me physically crossing the river, because I've been over there. I can see where I've been. I can see where we were earlier today. I can see the turnhole tunnel. And now we're standing right here. I mean, the sense of accomplishment I'm feeling right now is a bit strong. So I'm gonna walk around, kind of snoop around, see if I find any more significant pieces here, but just, I feel really accomplished and satisfied that we saw this through to the end, and that I not only did it, I didn't do it alone. Robbie joined me for this adventure, so a lot of emotions right now, but just happy to be here. Just to think, earlier today, we were right over there on that beach area, and we watched a train go across. We came over there, saw the anchors for the bridge, and now we're clear across, standing where the hotel once stood. To the everyday, average, ordinary person, this wouldn't be exciting. To us, it's extremely exciting because we've seen pictures of this hotel. We learned about the history. They talk about it on the Jim Thorpe train ride, the LGSR. And to know that we're standing where it stood more than 100 years ago, it's very surreal. But everywhere you go, bricks, random pipes, and what we're looking at right now is the wall in front of us. That was the wall in front of the hotel. So I'll show you once again, where we're standing is basically right in front of the hotel. So it was elevated above the water, even though I do believe it did have a flood, I think in 1903 if I'm not mistaken. But we do know, for perspective, the bridge crossed somewhere over here, and it was up higher where it touched land. Actually, no, I'm mistaken. we confirmed that it was the same level as the hotel. So the hotel right now is up elevation from the river. So let's take a walk over here. We'll see if we see anything resembling where the bridge would have been. Yeah, that's looking where we basically hit nature's roadblock. We're sitting down saying we can't go any further. It's impenetrable. It's through there. You can see why. Over here though, there's no bricks or ruins or anything. So the hotel wasn't over here, I don't believe. But the footbridge, well, there's a stone wall there. The footbridge would have been somewhere in this general area. That much I could tell you. And when they crossed over, they went to the right, walked through, checked in, got their room key, got settled in, and then they may have went on the train. They may have went in the water. They may have did some fishing. They may have went walking down to that little beach cove area. They could have sat on the front porch taking the views and the trains because LV came right across the Turnhole Tunnel bridge. And who knows what else they were doing back in the day. Dancing, tennis, live music. Yeah, Robbie said this is probably slate roofing.
When you look at the edges are cut. So if you find a nice piece that's an end.
Yeah.
Like that piece there is kind of like an end. You can see how the edges are nice and squared off.
Mm-hmm. Being filtered through the rocks and through the moss here, the carpet, I'd be half tempted to bottle that up and drink it. I'm gonna make this vivid for just a moment. Check this out. It's like postcard worthy right here. All right, back to reality. What a friggin' day. We are both spent. Both out of shape, but I think we both feel pretty accomplished.
Oh, I love this.
I'm gonna ask Robbie in a moment, but just to share a few things with you, just to kind of rehash what we went through today. Now, when I made my video back in March, talking about all the history here that many people didn't know about, that's when interest kind of grew from there, both in the comments and with people like Robbie saying, you know what, we should go and see what's left of it today. And that kind of sparked my interest of finding out, is there actually anything over here? And if so, how do you get to it? So through channel of networks and friends and research, we got pointed in the right direction. And when I told Robbie, I'm like, hey, I think I know how to do it. I said, you want to join me? He's like, absolutely. And he's like, I've always wanted to come over here. And there's so many things today that we saw for the very first time that we had no idea ever existed, including the trail coming down here and some of the things over in the pavilion area. He said he's been up there a bunch, never saw the fountain area. So as I said before, no matter how many times you come back to an area, there's always something else to see. If you know where to look and you have a curious nature, there's definitely history all around this area. And Glenanoco, you could come back. I'll be back more times than I could count. I'm still gonna find more, research more, investigate more. But today as a whole was just it was both frustrating and satisfying at the same time because it was a long day. We hit a lot of obstacles, both man-made and nature, but we accomplished everything we want to do. And although it was time-consuming, I felt it was appropriate for what we documented. There's no way I could have rushed through this and only showed you bits and pieces making a 30-minute video. It wouldn't do it justice. So hopefully, if you are still watching to the end, I want to thank you for doing so, but I do want to ask Robbie his thoughts on today's adventure because we did it together. We shared a lot of thoughts off camera, but I want to hear, now that we're here in location, or on location, what's going through your head?
So, as Jay kind of said, we got to see some things that we've never seen. I live near here. I've hiked this mountain probably for 20 years of my life. I've never made it to this side. It's somewhere I've always wanted to go. It's always cool to come with somebody who's got a fresh appreciation for it because I know where certain things are, and sometimes when you're trying to show someone, you're like, oh, there's a wall here, there's a wall there. So Jay's like, well, what's on top of that wall? And sure enough, found the fountain. And coming down here, wow, there was a point when I was like up top, I'm like, I don't know if I can make it back up that hill, and fingers crossed we do. And Jay says, I came this far, we're going down, and we're here, we found it. I feel like I climbed a mountain, which we're going to have to,
Yeah.
but it was definitely well worth it. To sit in this spot and the history that's been here, and to know that not many people have ever been here, probably in the last 100 years or so. It's pretty cool. It's really cool to see what what does remain, and to try to picture what was here at one point. So.
And just to envision behind us right now, a 47-room Victorian hotel from
4 stories.
over 100 years ago. And today nature's reclaiming, but as we've seen, not everything is gone. There's still a lot of evidence behind. And just touching base once again on, first, even something simple like filming the train at 11 o'clock. I filmed it from the other side of the rock cut, something I've never done. I was on the other side of the rock cut, a place I've never been. I'm on this side of the river, a location I've never been to. And knowing that a trail comes right down here, it's just so many things that really open my eyes to how much is really out there. Even when you think you already know an area, there's a lot more hiding out there. Whether it's hidden by nature or just lack of storytelling or lack of videos, there's still a lot to be seen out here. So without rambling anymore, I do want to thank Robbie for joining me, because I don't think I could have done it alone. Both of us, we really paired up, put our heads together, put our eyes on the lookout, and really made this come to fruition. So thank you once again for being here. I greatly appreciate it. Hopefully we make it out like he said, but by all means, check out his version of today's adventure. It will be linked down below. I'm not lost on exploring. He does more of a cinematic style with some voiceovers and some music. I do more in the moment. So between both of us, you get different feels, different perspectives, a different story of this area. So thank you all so very much for joining us, for coming along, and for checking out what's left of the old Hotel Wahnetah, not Wahnetah, as I got called out on many, many times. Take care, everyone. And as always, we'll see you in the next video.